Hey guys, Gunter here with Audio Underground. Today we're going to be taking a look at Mexican Institute of Sound, a solo project from Mexico City-based producer Camilo Lara. Let's jump in. That may have looked super corny. We'll figure it out later. This is a project that's been going on for almost 2 decades at this point. Camilo Lara actually put out the first Mexican Institute of Sound, or MIS, album in 2006, titled Mexico Mexico. And this album featured a lot of tracks that are still pretty popular among his works today. One of the songs off of this album that I particularly like is Marando a las Muchachas, which is a good blend, like all of his music, of some samples and some original instrumentals. Actually, we should probably talk about what it is he does that makes this music so unique. You see, he takes a lot of samples dating back to even the 1920s and earlier of traditional Mexican music, mariachi and folk music, using a lot of horns, and transposes them into a much more modern setting by layering them with 808s and other synth tracks and drum machines, etc., even adding in his own lyrics to a lot of his songs. These lyrics range from everything from spoken words to raps, chants, and actual singing, and it gives his music a very wide range of feelings, despite the fact that it all kind of is condensed within this broad genre of sampled mashup music that I think is really very much worth listening to. And he's not the only one who does this. There's actually Nortec Collective and Kinky that are a couple of other artists that do similar things, taking old samples and bringing them into the modern era, giving them a new life with these electronic tracks kind of layered in with them in a way that gives them a totally new sound, and you almost wouldn't recognize the original songs. In fact, I don't a lot of times, just from one or two samples that he puts into the music that he makes and puts on his albums today. Lara's work actually goes well beyond his project Mexican Institute of Sound because he does a lot of work in Hollywood as well. He's been credited on many major titles such as Thor: Love and Thunder, Disney's Coco, and the Netflix series Narcos. He actually has a lot of work outside of that as well, working for TV shows and movies as both a writer of music and a consultant, just to make sure that everything is up to par since he sets a pretty high standard. Lara actually had the honor of receiving a Latin Grammy nomination for his work as a producer on the song Besos de Mezcal. This, unfortunately, he didn't win, but was a great opportunity for him to just be brought to a new level of notoriety because of the fact that this did put a lot of eyes on his work that he did with some artists that he's produced for, and then of course his solo projects such as Mexican Institute of Sound as well. Now, MIS's 2021 album, Distrito Federal, was actually put on NPR's list of the best albums of the year. And although they don't have a Tiny Desk concert yet, or he doesn't have a Tiny Desk concert yet, I think Camilo Lara as Mexican Institute of Sound would be ripe for the picking as far as looking for new voices to shed a little bit more light on here in America. He's fairly well known throughout Mexico, but his work hasn't really caught on as much in the States just because of the fact that what he does that most of us hear is his work behind the scenes as a producer or a composer for many of these films and TV shows he's worked on. And not as many folks have had the opportunity to check out some of his solo work as Mexican Institute of Sound, where he really gets a chance to shine and do what he does best, which is put a new context around old samples and shed a new light on some more traditional Mexican music and give it a more modern audience, if you will. Lara is a master of intertwining these old samples from a variety of sources into cohesive songs, especially by using these newer tracks and lyrics that he adds in to sort of gel them all together into one coherent sound. He really does an excellent job of this and is, I think, one of the best out there doing it right now. Not only does MIS rework very old songs, but some newer ones as well. In fact, he recently did a cover, or they recently did a cover, but it's really just one guy, so he recently did a cover. MIS recently also did a cover of Metallica's Sad But True and a rework of Beck's Wow. So not only do they, or does he, take old samples and bring them into modern context, but he tweaks other modern songs as well just to put his own little spin on them. If you're looking for a place to start listening, I would recommend 2 of the earlier albums MIS did. One is Soy Sauce, of course, soy sauce being a kind of sauce, and then soy also being Spanish for I am. It's kind of a good little wordplay there. And then also Politico. These ones both have a very wide range of songs, almost all of them using, sampled music from back in the day, combined with some lyrics that he puts in and some more modern tracks. but it really is incredible how much punch and power you can get from some old mariachi horn lines when it comes to trying to transform them into a modern dance setting. Of course, a lot of these horn licks are pretty ripping, even in the original contexts, but to put 808s and some really beefed up bass behind them really does wonders for giving them an energy and a more modern feel. I mentioned that Lara has done some work with Hollywood films and TV shows, and that he's collaborated with a lot of other artists, but his solo project MIS actually had one of their songs featured in a video game, FIFA 10, and that was the song A La Cotel off of the album Soy Sauce, I believe from 2009. Again, one of my favorite albums, and that song is actually one of the best on it, I think. If anyone's wondering where I come across some of these bands, it really is a wide range of things that I've just sort of stumbled upon or been shown over the years. Mexican Institute of Sound, actually my dad introduced me to. I think you might have heard it on KEXP, the Seattle-based music station that you can listen to worldwide thanks to the wonderful magic of the internet. Other ones I've stumbled upon from Tiny Desk concerts, random Spotify suggestions, other friends, or just searching up things on YouTube and Spotify and the internet and seeing what comes up. So I suggest doing that and just delving into the world of music on your own. But if you want sort of a super highway to some of the best little known bands out there, feel free to keep stopping by, and I'll try to pick out some real good ones for you all. So there you have it. Mexican Institute of Sound and Camilo Lara, the man behind the curtain, if you will. A very well worth listening to project because of the way that they are able to transform these old samples from what was already dance music in its day into even more danceable hits of now through the use of adding lyrics and instrumental tracks and electronic tracks and even other old samples from completely different decades and even genres from time to time. I think, once again, a well worth listening to artist, and one that you can check out through some of the links down in the description below. As usual, if you happen to be watching, which remains to be seen, don't hesitate to leave a comment and say I suck, or I'm awesome, or that I should cover XYZ other band, because I would be happy to go do so, and I myself am also always on the lookout for new music to listen to. Thanks. Adios. See ya. Don't know about the adios in this context.